Hey, everybody. I'm Michelle Pennings, and I'm doing this recording with my friend Ken Mendoza. Hi, Ken. And,
Hello.
and I'm going to have you introduce yourself here in a minute, but the reason, well, this kind of sparked it. So I listened to the Photobomb podcast with Blu Ray and Gary Hughes, and they were telling a story on their podcast about a photographer up in the Bay Area in California who was camera jacked and punched the guy in the face. And they said his name was Ken Mendoza. And I thought, I know Ken Mendoza. I'm going to call him up. And I have to hear the story from him. So Ken, introduce yourself. And then I want to hear this story because we want to talk about safety. I really want to hit on, photography. We don't want to scare people from going to San Francisco or San Diego, where I'm from. This has happened a few times. And I want to talk about how can we avoid this? What happened? How can we avoid it? And how can we be safe? So Ken, tell us about yourself.
Yes, so yes, I'm Ken Mendoza, and I'm a fine art wedding photographer based in the Bay Area. I live in Oakland, and I do most of my work in San Francisco, but also a bunch in Yosemite and all over Northern California. And I'm a master WPPI and active in PPA, and so I work with a lot of photographers up north here. And so the event that I've seen various changes to the story on Twitter and such, that I beat up the robber, or that I punched him in the face or something.
Punched him in the face. So, I want to hear about that.
So
start at the beginning. Like what happened?
Yeah. So this was a part of a tour. It was a city hall wedding, and the couple wanted a photo at this iconic area, which is on California Street, where the cable cars go up by the Fairmont. It's called the Top of the Mark, and it's one of the nicer areas in San Francisco. There's a beautiful line of sight from that location to the Bay Bridge, with the hills of San Francisco right below you. And so you can see the tracks of the cable car kind of leading lines to the Bay Bridge. It's a lovely location. And we were going to do something sort of like the Beatles' White Album walking shot. They're going to walk across the street.
Oh, cool.
So we got that shot, actually. And then they wanted one more shot where they were down the hill. And so I had to switch lenses, and I put one lens down and I crouched down when I swapping lenses. And then I was standing up to take the shot, and then this car pulls up slowly by me and stops within 3-4 feet. And I'm thinking, okay, are they going to say something like "get out of the way" or "congratulations"? And
are they behind you, or did
they were kind of so I was shooting downhill, and the car made a left turn into our lane, essentially, because we were kind of in the middle of the street. They're going to cross us into the right lane. And so, but they just stopped 3 feet away. And it was really weird because they weren't saying anything. It was just silence. And I got this really creepy feeling. And I just felt something was wrong. And I got my camera. I'm like, they're going to run over us? And then the passenger opened the door very, very quickly, if not violently, like they're going to do something. So I'm like, okay, there's gonna be a problem here. I don't know what, it was too fast to think, but I knew I had to get away, and I got my camera and I started running. And I ran behind the vehicle.
Okay.
And the guy came out with he had a hood on and gloves, and started running after me. And I could hear him behind me, and I was just running as fast as I could. And then he caught up to me and got a hold of my hand. I had A7R4 and a 16-35 lens, so about $5,000 in my hand.
You're holding the baby, like, don't let him get it.
Yeah. And he got a hold of my hand in the camera.
Okay.
And then I punched forward and broke out of the grip.
So does he like reach behind you to get it?
Behind me.
Behind you? Okay.
He caught up to me, and then I ran.
broke away and then.
So I just did a twisting, I took martial arts in high school, so I kind of knew that you just automatically, if you do a twisting motion, it's hard to hold on.
Okay.
So I just kept running. I felt even faster. I mean, the adrenaline
Yeah,
just
your
kicked
adrenaline
in.
probably just.
And then I was told later that he grabbed my hood. I had a hood jacket on and pulled me back, but I kept running forward, and then he got my hand again. And this time I just violently like punched and elbowed with the camera in the hand, and then he let go.
You punched him in the arm though, because we heard that you punched him in the face.
No, not in the face. I didn't look back. That would have been dumb.
Got him in the arm. Okay.
That would have been
But that's still pretty badass there, Ken. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Well, I just
That
you
everything,
just
all your
do
training, your fight and flight.
what your reptilian brain's telling you to do. I just was getting the hell out of town. So I did consciously think that if I can get to the garage at the Fairmont, I'd be fine, because there's a bunch of parking
And how
personnel there.
far away was that?
So I probably got, after the first time he got hold of my camera, I was about 100 feet away from the car, and the second time was probably 150 feet away from the car.
Okay.
So it's probably another 100 feet to the entrance. So by then the guy just turned around, and then the driver of the car, which I later found out had a gun,
Oh no.
did a really fast U-turn, squeaking tires. And I'm like, oh no, he's going to come into the Fairmont. So I just ran all the way up to the kiosk. I'm like, there's a guy coming in here. Just be ready, because they might have a gun or whatever. But they never came in.
Never came back. And did your clients ran away at that time? I'm sure they were.
Well,
really
one of
freaked
the
out.
clients was standing there crying.
Well, yeah, understandably.
And the other one started to run after the guy, and then realized that was super dangerous, and just stood in shock. And then a good Samaritan on the side called the cops, and they showed up pretty quickly.
Okay. And so the guy chasing you didn't have a gun, but the one in the car, you heard later, he did.
The one in the car was reported to have a gun that was seen by a witness, and we don't know about the one who's chasing me.
Wow, Ken, that is so scary. Wow. I'm really happy you're okay. So you weren't hurt, just the adrenaline pumping and getting away and all that, but you're okay.
No, it wasn't hurt. I mean, I suspect that if it would have gone on the ground, that it could have gotten pretty bad.
Oh my goodness. So, okay, so we talked earlier about maybe things that we can share with people. What do you recommend as far as do you just is running the best thing? Would you hand over your gears the best thing? What do you, for you? I mean, I know you can't tell everybody this is what you should do.
Yeah.
But the whole flight thing, what else do you recommend?
Well, the running thing is a personal choice, and I don't feel comfortable recommending that.
Yeah.
I just have not heard of any situations where someone's running away and they get shot in the back. Yeah. But you never know these days. I'm not gonna go on record recommending that. If it happened to me again, I'd run.
Okay.
If
probably want to decide as a photographer when we're going out into the field, what are we going to do? If that's going to are you going to drop your gear and hand it over? Are you going to run? And then you said something about a whistle and
okay, so I've been thinking about this a lot, because a lot of my business is doing fine art work in around the icons in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And this is what I do, and I'm not going to stop doing it. So I talked to talked to the chief detective on my case, and I talked to some other SFPD people who called, and I ran some ideas past them. Because in the interim, before I talked to the detective, I got a call from some pretty well-known photographers in the area, and they asked if I was okay and all that. And then one of them gave me a phone number of a bodyguard, an ex-special SWAT team guy.
Oh, wow.
and he's $50 an hour and comes with a gun and all that. So I had that and I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna raise my prices,
Yeah, add that to your
and
feed.
incorporate. But I'm thinking, you know what? Before I go there, I just don't like having that guy with me would affect the vibe of the shoot. Like I really need to get emotion and storytelling, and just knowing there's a guy with a gun and you want your couples to be all kissy and happy together. That's a lot harder, right?
Yeah, when he's standing there like,
Yeah,
gun.
yeah, badass, big muscle, whatever, all tatted up. So I thought, okay, I've got that as an option. So then I thought, well, you know, what would have stopped this, and what, just being really aware.
Okay, yeah,
And having someone stepping back and looking around and not focusing on watching your poses and watching, but actually just there to look around and to be situationally aware.
Oh, you're focusing on getting the shot, making sure your light's right, you're posing and everything. It's hard for you. I'm surprised that you could even sensed that guy was pulling up. That was really big of you.
Well, I grew up in a kind of tough neighborhood, so I guess I had a little bit of that training to be aware. But I also don't shoot with. I rarely shoot with an assistant.
So somebody did shoot with an assistant, because I know you said you don't like to shoot with an assistant most of the time, but if they did, would this could be a task that they could be on the lookout, just so that be aware of this around.
What I would do is I would learn to shoot by yourself so that you can utilize the assistant to be situationally aware. And that's what they do, is they look around. So going back to the detective, so I talked to the detective and a couple other SFPD, and I ran the idea of everyone around having a whistle.
Perfect.
And then on top of that, having a can of bear spray, which I'm getting some bear spray for grizzly bears, like the big gun.
Okay.
And have that available maybe on my belt if it's an area that I know that is especially dicey.
Get it to really quick.
But I think having a lot of people, at least one, but the more the better, and just buy a bunch of whistles, give it to them, have them look around, and then do your shoot. And you know, have an assistant set your light, just have it on light stand and just put it where you want it. Have your assistant focus on safety.
Good information. What about, I know you'd mentioned too, like if your clients wanted to bring a friend, then you would educate them at the beginning.
Yes, like, yes. Hey, just have in your camera bag a bunch of whistles. Yeah. And they're cheap. And I'm telling you, these people, you know, the SFPD people told me they just cannot, these robbers cannot stand having a lot of witnesses. So when you blow the whistle, you're telling them, people know what's going on. It's all ping. Everyone around pay attention to what's going on, and they're going to be eyewitnesses, and they do not want that.
They don't want that. That's so smart. Yeah, and then you don't want to have to go search through OfferUp and Craigslist to buy back your gear after they've sold it, or or
just I've heard all these stories of people, some women like hurting their shoulders, because they're pulling. Yeah. With you might have it on a camera strap and you're just holding on and you get
strangle you and
dragged, and it's there's a really, if he had caught up to me, there would have been a struggle.
Do you shoot with a strap or anything, or are you just using the belt and like a spider belt?
So I use a system from Pro Media Gear out of Chicago. And it's a strap system that has this quick release. So when I'm shooting, I was shooting low on this shot. So I needed to get the camera away from my body really low. So I just unpop, just a click. And so I had the camera low, so it was only in my hand, but usually it's in the strap if it's just a normal angle.
Wow.
But just think about,
if they go to take it, it could totally strangle you, or
that's the whole
ground.
That's the danger here, is that when they go after you and you have it around you, like most people I know, they have it on strap. It's like you have to give up like they can't pull it, they're gonna ruin the camera. So they're gonna have to force you to give it up. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna punch you, they're gonna pistol whip you. It's like, so just get away from
Get
that
away.
chance and just have situational awareness.
I love it. Oh, I'm so glad you're okay, Ken. That is scary. That is so scary. And thanks for telling me the real story. I still think you're a superhero. Even, you still got away. That's awesome. And then I know you told me too, you had your gear stolen out of your car before. That's another thing.
Yeah, well, last summer I had I rented a car, was going doing some landscape photography out of Yosemite, and I got back, starving because I had just backpacked 15 miles, and
Man.
I was so I'm just going to go to a sushi place, and I just put everything in the trunk, and then someone was watching the area. They saw me put stuff away, and they broke in.
Okay. I know that when friends of mine have done workshops and we've gone out to eat after, we're rolling all our gear in because we're thinking we are not leaving it in the car. That's one thing. Don't leave your gear in the car because they will.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
that is a given. Like, but yeah, I just don't want to hear any more stories of photographers getting hurt,
Yeah.
because it's not worth.
And I think a lot of people don't. I would never have thought of it unless my friend, I have a friend who was shooting underneath the Coronado Bridge in San Diego. Is kind of got some really cool murals and things under there, Barrio Logan, and it's could be a sketchy area. And I've had friends they set their gear down and we're shooting 5 feet away from it, and people swipe their gear, or walking around and people just eyeing them, and just an uncomfortable situation, and they've had to run. So I think it's really important that we talk about this and that people are aware. And the whistle is great, the pepper spray or bear spray. This is so important. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
You're welcome. I hope it helps. If it helps one photographer, it's totally worth it.
Yeah. And I think you will. I think you're going to help more than one. And I want to hear more stories about this, because we just have to keep aware. And I want to hear later, if this does happen to somebody, let Ken know that that it helped you and that might have saved you out of a scary situation. So thanks, Ken. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. And thank you. All right.